Hey everyone, it's Shreyas Kamath here. Today, I'm going to walk you through a step-by-step tutorial of a customer support automation workflow. I'll show you how to set it up from scratch, run it very smoothly, and handle customer queries automatically. And by the end, you will be able to save time, reduce manual work, and deliver faster responses like a pro. Check around for some bonus tips to make your automations even smarter. So this is the n8n page. Once you log in, you get this interface, and you can click on create workflow right over here. Okay, super. I will name this as customer support automation just to keep ourselves organized. There we go. Okay. So what we are doing basically is we have this document that is FAQ document. I have created this using Gemini, and it's not like an official legal document. Okay. Um, so what I'm doing this is I'm uploading this document in a tool called as Pinecone Vector Database. I'll tell you what that is in a while. So how about we upload this using an n8n itself? So for that, we create a workflow, a simple workflow. Firstly, when once you upload that document in Google Drive, automatically it should be uploaded in Pinecone vector database. We'll do that now. Firstly, before that, we'll create a new folder in my Google Drive. I'll click on new folder. You can name it whatever you want, and I'll upload this document inside my folder. So the very first step would be the trigger. The triggers are on changes involving a specific folder. Once I click on this, and the credential to connect with is already connected, and the triggers changing involving a specific folder, I'll refresh this list since I just created it. This is my folder which I just created. I click on this, and watch for should be selected for file created. Okay, once I upload the file in that folder, it should extract that information. Okay, and yeah, I will upload a new file here. This is my document. It was already uploaded. Now I click on fetch test event. Okay, let's see if uh, it got the right folder file, police certificate document. As you can see, the same exact name, right? So we are good to go. But now the contents of the file, n8n doesn't have access to it. So what we need to do is we need to download that file in n8n. And for that, again, Google Drive, we can see download a file option over here. We click on this and select a file. But don't need to select a file because whenever we upload a file, this is static. Okay, we need this to be dynamic. So that for that reason, we'll choose from ID and we'll look for ID of that file. It would be somewhere here. Email address, file, ID. Not sure if that's the right ID. Yeah, this is the one idea. The name is policy and ethics document and ID is given here. So that it's a variable actually. Whichever folder we upload, this should be downloaded. Suppose if I click on any specific file only, it will download only that file and it's not dynamic. And that's the reason we are choosing ID over here. I'll drag and drop it over here. Yeah, good to go. And I'll now fetch execute step. So it has downloaded this document. And the next step would be Pinecone data, Pinecone vector store. So whatever we download, we need to upload that in Pinecone vector database. So here you can see an option called as add documents to vector store. I click on this. So before that, how do we access Pinecone? What is Pinecone? You might have a question, right? So I'll tell you what is Pinecone. So what is Pinecone? Simply put, it's a special database for AI. Unlike normal database that store only plain text or numbers, Pinecone stores vectors. Okay, this means it can understand the meaning of the content, not just the exact words. For example, if a customer asks a question slightly different from your uh, FAQ, that is frequently asked question, Pinecone can still find the right answer because it matches the meaning and not just the exact phrasing of it. So this is the advantage of using Pinecone. So in our workflow, we are uploading FAQ and policy documents into Pinecone. Whenever a customer sends a query, n8n can search through Pinecone instantly and find the most relevant answers and respond automatically. This helps us save time, reduce manual work, and provide fast and accurate support. So I'll head over to pinecone.io. This is the website. I'll quickly log in. You can sign up if you don't have an account. So once I log in, we will get this page. For now, actually, you won't be having any indexes, so I'll delete this index. I click on delete index. So yeah, we'll be having a page like this. Okay. So you need to click on create index, and you can name your index whatever you want. N8n. As n8n, you can name it whatever you want, and the dimensions would be 768. That depends on the what embedding model you are using. I would be using Google embedding model, and that works only if the dimension is 768. And that's the reason I'm using 768. Even 1024 works, okay? And the capacity mode would be serverless, cloud provider would be AWS, and the region would be the as it is one, default one. And I click on create index. Okay. As you can see, you don't have any namespaces over here. It's showing default, so there's no namespace. Let it be as it is, but you need an API key to access Pinecone. So you can click on API keys right over here, and this API key which I've already created, you can create a new API key and call it whatever you want, and maintain API or whatever you want, and create. And I'll copy this and paste it in my n8n workflow. So you can click on create new credential in Pinecone Vector Store. The API key, select this and paste it. And click on save. The credential is successfully created. And you can name it Pinecone API 2. API 2, yeah. I'll save this. Yeah, it's saved. Okay. And the Pinecone index would be, I just created one. So I click on n8n. That's the name of my index. And let embedding batch size be 200. We need to add an option called as Pinecone namespace. So once it uploads a document, it should have a name, right? If it doesn't have a name, if I don't give the name, it will be shown as default. So let's get into a habit of keeping our data organized. And that's the reason I put it as FAQ. And that would be the name of our namespace. And I'll execute this step. I can't execute this step because I don't have an embedding model right now. Now I have to choose an embedding model. I would go with Google's embedding model and let this be default text embedding 004. And I could also choose a document. I would go with default data loader. Let this be as it is, but the type of data should be binary because as you can see, this download file option is in binary and not JSON. JSON is kind of giving gibberish, right? But binary is something which is sorted. So I change the type of data to binary and let this be as it is, and we are good to go. And I'll execute this workflow. I'll okay, confirm this now, and I'll execute this workflow. Now, let's check our index. Here we go. The name which I had given in that AI agent, Pinecone agent, is called as FAQ, and the record number of records are 22. So basically, what it did is, it's a huge document, right? It broke down into 22 different chunks, that is 22 different vectors. Okay. Yeah, that's what we did. Now our file is uploaded in Pinecone. Now it's time to create a customer support agent. That is a workflow automation. I'll create a new workflow. I'll save this. Customer support. Okay, I renamed it. And the first step would be when a client sends you a question, a query, right? So that should be Gmail on message received. I'll fetch this event. Actually, I already have already sent one email asking a query about my architect, if I can use my own architect or not. So I'll fetch test event. Okay, yeah, this is the exact same thing. But the thing is, we should toggle this off. We should toggle this off because it will simplify whatever the client sends an email to you. It will be simplified. We don't want the simplified. We don't want the long version of it. We want each and every detail of it, right? I'll toggle this off and I'll fetch test event again. And now I where's the email? Yeah, this is the email which I have sent it. Okay, perfect. This is done. Now what it should do is basically now we need to classify whether this whatever a client sends or whoever sends, because multiple people will send an email to you, right? But all the emails are not customer support questions, customer support Gmails. And that's the reason we need to classify them, whether they are customer support related or they are not. And that's the reason we'll be using a node called as text classifier. Here we go. So text to classify would be the email. So we need to find that particular email and drag and drop it over here. This is the exact email. I drag it and drop it here. This is a text to classify. Okay. And we'll add categories. There should be two categories. One is customer support emails and other one is others. That can be the marketing, promotion, sponsorships, or whatever it is, right? So I add category and I'll name it as customer support. And the description, I have created a Google Docs actually. You can just copy this and paste it. I'll quickly read this out. Call this if the email is related to customer support for a luxury home building business. This includes queries about ongoing or upcoming projects, pricing, design options, construction, timelines, warranties, site visits, material specification, or any assistance clients may need. Use this to identify emails where a client is seeking help, information, or service. So this is the description given to customer support. So what if it's not customer support related email? And that's the reason we'll create another category called as others. And I quickly copy this and paste it over here. I'll quickly read this out. Call this if the email is not related to customer support for a luxury home building business. This includes marketing emails, partnerships, proposals, newsletter, internal communication, spam, or any messages unrelated to client assistance or inquiries about projects. Okay, so these are the two categories which the text classifier should classify. And now I will add a model to text classifier. You can use Google. I guess it works. Now I'll execute this step. So I'll pin this data, okay? So that
We don't have to execute the Gmail trigger again and again. I'll pin this data. So as you can see, the test classifier has classified it as customer support branch 1 item and others branch 0. Since it's a customer support related query, it has the information is gone to this particular branch and not others branch. So if what if the email goes to other branch? Suppose if there's other email unrelated to customer support, what it should do?
Nothing, right? So I click on nothing. You can do no operation or do nothing. Okay. Suppose what if it's a customer support
Related question. And for that, what we need to do is we need to add an agent, AI agent, and prompt would be I have also given the prompt here. Okay, prompt that is user message for AI agent. I quickly copy this and paste it over here. Okay, it says connected to chat trigger node, but since we don't have any chat trigger, we will click on define below. Okay, I have entered a generate an email for this query. For this query, we need to call the knowledge base compulsory to extract all the information related to generate an email. I'll tell you what knowledge base is, and we also need to give a system prompt, system message. And for that, I've also given the prompt. This is the prompt. I'll copy this entire thing and paste it over here. I have generated this prompt using a specific custom GPT using ChatGPT. I'll also give that link below in the description. That would help you a lot. Okay, this is the system message. And before that, and then we need to add a chat model as well. We would add Google
2.5 flag of this works. Fine, this fine. And I'll just tidy this up. Okay, this is looking good now. It's readable. Okay. I click on tool. The tool should be Pinecone vector database because the information should be extracted from that Pinecone vector database to generate an email, right? Pinecone vector store. And yeah, description, I'll also give the description. The index should be n8n. I'll put the limit as 22. It's fine. And Pinecone vector database description, I'll copy this and paste it. So the description says this tool must be called without exception to access policy and FAQ information for the luxury home building business. It is mandatory for the AI agent to use this tool whenever responding to any query involving company policies, procedures, pricing, warranties, services, or FAQs. Never skip following this tool under any circumstance. So this is the description. So we'll quickly name this as knowledge base. Knowledge base. And that's the reason in my AI agent, I've given this description prompt. You need to call this call the knowledge base compulsory knowledge base tool compulsorily to extract all the information detail to generate an email. I've also given the that information in my system message as well. As you can see, tools, knowledge base, Pinecone vector store must be called before generating any reply. The agent must extract complete and exact information from this source only. Okay, and since we are replying to that email, we don't need to generate a subject. We just need a body, right? And I also mentioned that in my system message. And now I'll execute this step. Okay, there's some error. Server must be connected. Okay, so the thing is, we forgot to give this embedding. So we'll again click on Google's embedding model and we'll leave it as default models text embedding. And now it should, yeah, we'll be good to go. Perfect. We'll click on 2.5 flash preview and let's check how this works. So this is the output generated by AI agent. Says hi Carol, thanks for reaching out and your kind words about your portfolio. I thrilled to hear about your concern as for your new home. And the main important thing is it's here engineering review by our in-house team to ensure strict compliance with all local code structure, integrity requirements, and buildability standards, etc. So this is the same exact thing about the architect. So it's over here. This is the question which I asked, but in a different way. If I could use my own architect instead of your in-house architect, as the same thing, engineering review by our in-house team to ensure strict compliance with all local codes, structure integrity requirements, and buildability standards. As you can see, it's over here, right? So yes, I'll pin this data now, and then I'll send the message to Gmail. Okay, we have not send a message, we have to reply to a message. So it's over here. Need to connect our credentials. The message ID, it will be somewhere over here. This ID, is this the ID? Yeah. I drag this and drop it over here. And the email type would be text. The message would be as it is. I drag this and drop it. And I'll execute this step. Let's check our email now. Okay, we received the email. Here we go. Hi Cameron, the exact same thing has been sent email. And that is it. So if you want, we can also add a label to the customer support questions. You could also do that. Add a label. The message ID is here. I'll drag this and drop it over here. The label is customer support. I created a label called as customer support here. You can click on plus button and create a label and execute stuff. Yes. So as you can see, the email which I sent from my other account has been marked as customer support, has been labeled as customer support. You can also see this in my inbox, customer support questions, customer support. Yeah. So that is it for this tutorial. I hope this video was very helpful for you. And I'll see you in my next video. Thank you so much.